Thanks for joining me today. This is for all the people that make sausage, especially all you hunters and home people. Anyways, this is how I do it. I don't thaw my meat out. I never thaw my meat out. It cuts nicer, blocks nicer, and it goes through the type of grinder I have nicer. And you don't want wet meat. You're going to get enough wet when it thaws out the rest of the way. And every batch has moisture in it, and that's kind of like, as you can see, I'm grinding it up. This is the very first grind. I never mix my meat dry in there. As you can see it later on in the video after this here. I mix my meat in water because every batch of meat calls for at least 3 or 4 cups of water. Some call for 5 and 6. So I make sure that we do all our spices. My wife mixes all the spices together at night, and then they're just sitting in bags ready to get water added to it, whatever else she's going to do to it. So as you can see, it's all ground up. This is day 2. My wife's going to mix the spices. So you can see we use whole cloves. We don't use fake garlic. You'll get a better one than this. And remember I was telling you we add 3 to 4 cups of water in most of our spices. So she takes some of that water and grinds that garlic right into a milk. You're not getting a better consistent mix than that. And when she's done that, she'll throw it in with the other dry spices, as you'll see coming up. She'll throw them in with the dry spices, throw the rest of the water in there, and you've got your mix. And she'll mix it all together. And it goes into the batches I have out there. Sometimes I have 8, 9, 10 batches. Sometimes I have 3 and 4. It takes 3 days to make sausage for me, no matter what, 1 batch or 10 batches. So you can see the batches she made up the night before. The only thing people don't and always forget, you've got to add 1 ounce of cure to every 25 pounds of meat if you're smoking that meat. If you're not smoking it, it's not that important. But it's for cure. It's not just for cure, it's bacteria. It stops the final bacteria. It'll help you in the long run, trust me. Every 25 pounds of meat needs an ounce of cure. And we use what they call FS Cure. We don't use Morton's Cure because Morton's Cure just isn't very consistent. When I took a course on it, they explained why. It just doesn't make it. You can use it for one or 2 batches, but you'll see if you made 5 different batches or 5 of the same batches and use Morton, they're all different color. With this FS Cure, keeps it nice and clean, and you have every color the same color. So you can see she's mixed it all in. Now she's just mixing the dry with the water. And now I'm ready to, because I've ground all my first grinds on all my batches, she's going to start bringing me these spices. There's your FS Cure. This is what we use. We get it from CTR. And as you can see, I pour it off to the side here when I mix. And the reason is I use that wet meat there, that first ground meat. I take all those spices. All those spices are really important to have because that's what it calls for, that amount of batch. Get every bit of spice out of that bowl you can get. It'll make a difference. Now I'm mixing. I'm going to mix this spice into it. I should have showed you how I do it, but I just kind of fluff it through. I don't squeeze it with my hands or push it in with my hand. I mix it around nice and soft. And so when I pull it out of that tub, I'm throwing it into this tub that it came out of. You can see the mustard seeds. The mustard seeds are a real helper in this. If they're clumped together, I know that spice hasn't been mixed very well. So what I look for is clumps of meat together. Like, see how those spices are all together and all that mustard seeds together? I've learned over experience that if I mix those mustard seeds really consistently, I've got a good mix through my meat. So I really look for clumps of meat. As you can see, it's mixing out, turning out pretty good. And then when I do all that, I'm ready for the second grind. And you can see I'm looking for mustard seed. Look how they spread out. And as I'm grinding this second grind here now, This is after I've done all my first grind, my spices. Now as I'm doing my second grind, it's getting another mix, literally, because now all those mixes are going through the final stages of that last grind. And as you can see, they're there. And what I do, once these are all ground together, they're going to be, this is the last thing I touched for that night. They'll sit in this tubs for overnight. I always let my meat sit in the tubs overnight. It dries them out a little bit and makes that meat cure. And it gets all those spices right through there for 12 hours. So the next day when I come out, they all look like this. These have all been sitting overnight. And this is not in hot area. This is warm. It's just warm to room temperature. And now you got my spices coming out of that into those cases. See now the casings, a lot of people tie those cases. You don't need to tie them. I found that if you let them sit overnight, they'll dry themselves enough where that moisture's kind of come out of it a little bit, and it won't come out of those casings. A lot of people are scared that's going to fall out of that casing. It will if you put it together in one day. If you made those spices in one day, put everything together, hung them on there, it would fall right out of those casings. That's why it's important to let it emulsify. Emulsification is important in that, and I never hang them right off the thing like that. I let them sit on the table till I'm done that batch. And now I'm done the batch, and I'm going to put them on the dowels. And one thing is important, I've already got my smoker going. Get it warm. So when those go on the dowels, they go right into the smoker. So you can see they're ready for smoking. And then I'm looking for a certain color when I smoke. I'm looking for a nice color. This is hickory. So that's what I do with all my garlic. I use hickory. And once they hit that color, they're almost cooked to 155, 150. So then they go into a cooking stage, boiling water. And when I go to put them in that boiling water, I cool it down to where it's just a simmer so they don't break the casings. And that's the look I'm looking for. So I cook them in that boiling water for 2 or 3 minutes till it hits 160. Once it hit 160, I put it in an ice cold bath for 5 minutes to stop the cooking. And as you can see now, she's ready to put in vacuum seal and to eat. And thank you so much for watching. This is how I do sausage. I hope it helps a little bit. This is how I do it, and we've never had any complaints. See you next one.